Hello, hello. Um, I just wanted to make this video to go over kind of where I have been and where we are now in terms of the development. Um, with the whole 2020 thing happening, I took a pretty large step away from most of the busy happenings going on in my life. Uh, I've been steadily, slowly, but surely working on Legend of Lionheart over the course of the year, and I'd figure I'd dump it all into one large update video, as well as give my plans for the future. So, I've had my hands everywhere in terms of my focus for the game. I've created trolls and dwarves and elves and some other more exotic races for the game. Uh, I've spent a lot of time on my design, specifically focusing on enemy encounters and things of that nature. So I've done a lot of playtesting fights and making sure that they're difficult but not impossible to beat. You know, you might need some outside items or things not related to your base character's kit, like gear decisions and things like that, going into very specific fights, bosses, things like that. Um, and that's where I've spent most of my work. Is you'll see here over just a little bit of a look-see here. The map pretty much hasn't changed from my last videos, um, like at all. So I haven't worked on world building at all this year. The reason I've done that is I've kind of focused on databasing, having all of the information at hand, readily available, and already created and tucked away. So I'm working on the fundamentals of the game, like the battling, the characters, like that kind of stuff, before I start shaping the world around those created ideas. So, like I said, I've created dwarves and elves and all of those, and with those units and with those flavors that I've mixed into the units, I hope to build the world around that and kind of make it make sense. Whereas building the world and then trying to slot things into it to make sense, I'm doing it in kind of a backwards order. Um, I think that I like where I've gotten so far. So, uh, I mean, we can quickly skim over them. We have the Dark Reef mobs. This is for a zone later in the game that is focused around underwater. So it's kind of like an Atlantis situation, sort of something like that. And it has a lot of lore and mysteries surrounding it that you will probably spend quite a long time here if the lore is something you care about, or it's one of the last areas of the game in my initial um, design for the game, and I don't want to go over everything and spoil it all. But I do think there are some cool things here that I've kind of toyed with and tried to create. So um, for the most part, like I've just worked on encounters and creating the flavor for the game that I want to have. You see, if I go into states, there's a lot of different things. If I go into skills, I've worked on many skills, right about from 84 onwards is all skills that I've made myself, and I even have some skills dotted in here that I made myself for the mage class a long time ago in the last video. Um, from that last video, I think I've only added two classes, that being the Paladin and the Ranger. I've worked on the Monk very slightly, but I'm not sure if the Monk is going to be in the base game or if I'll add it as very inexpensive DLC later, like 99 cents. I don't know. Um, when I get to the finished product here, I think I'll be able to make those decisions a lot easier, given what I know. But I'm not sure if I'll have DLCs or something like that. I think that'll develop with time. Um, But other than that, I guess my goals for 2021 is why I wanted to release this on New Year's Eve and all of that stuff, so I can get my cringy New Year's Eve resolution out of the way. I am set to release the full game by July 24th, 2021. That gives me a few months to work on it, and I hope that in that time I'll grow as a developer and hopefully I get a few people excited for the game. Um, from my knowledge, I've looked around, there's not a lot of classical RPGs being made anymore. Uh, but I think there's still a market for it. You know, people go back, I should say, and they play Secret of Mana and they play the old Final Fantasy games and all that stuff. And people still play things like that. Like you still see it. Um, and I think it's gone the wayside because it's I don't want to say it's easy to develop, but in a lot of ways it is. And uh, action RPGs have kind of replaced them. But I've always enjoyed turn-based RPGs and things like this for pretty much my whole life. So that it I knew from second one that I wanted it to be my first game. But I suppose enough rambling at this point, right? I just wanted to give a short update on where we are and where I plan to be. So again, expect the release of the game July 24th of 2021, and that'll be it, guys. Thank you for anyone who reaches out and watches this. Any comments or questions are always welcome, and be sure to subscribe if you're interested in more. Yeah.